Well, for more on the importance of airports to a city or region's economy, let's bring in Mark Weiss, Director of International Operations for Reagan AeroTech. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So how is airport construction keeping up with this booming demand we're seeing in air travel?
It really depends on what part of the world you're talking about. Here in the United States, it's actually lagging in many ways to other parts of the world. When you take a look at the last airports that we had built here in Denver or in Dallas, that's decades ago. Now take a look at what they're doing with new runway extensions that you mentioned at Heathrow, the new airport in Mexico, certainly the very large one that they're building in Beijing. It's critical for growth of an area and growth of a country to have substantial quality airports.
And let's take a look at that growth. Just how important is an airport to a regional economy and its tourism?
Well, think about it. You don't just build an airport, you're building a small city around that airport. You bring in jobs. Generally speaking, when you're building an airport, you're building an infrastructure, roads, subways, your hotels in the area. You're creating a lot of jobs. Prior to 9/11 here in the United States, 1 out of every 7 jobs was associated with either the hotel or the transportation industry. That's a massive amount of people. And that doesn't include the construction workers or those that make the material to build those roads or terminals.
So given the economic boost that comes with this, what's the competition like among cities when they're competing for airports?
Well, that's a tough question sometimes to answer because some cities just don't have the volume of people or the number of flights that would go in there to make it profitable for an airline. And I think what you have to think about is not just the city, but whether or not, well, keep in mind this. An airline basically is a financial institution. They're going to go somewhere where they believe that they can make money, whether it's with mail, with passengers, with cargo. So a city has to attract, be a magnet to draw in an airline.
And what about the airlines? How are they affected by infrastructure development plans?
Well, you think about this. There's a few different issues when you talk about that. Airlines are looking, again, is this city, would it be able to support having some flights there? Do we have the right size aircraft, the mix of aircraft to go into a city like that would support a financial venture that would give us positive cash flow? It's not just one aspect. You're looking at cargo, you're looking at mail, you're looking at whether there's resorts there, whether there's medical facilities there that people would want to go to. Is it a business center? A lot of different things that go into the mix when you're looking at whether or not you want to have your airline or an airline fly somewhere.
And what about the experience in the airport itself? What do travelers actually want in an airport? Is it just about getting in and out, or do they want some of these additional amenities we're seeing, like yoga rooms?
Well, it's interesting. One of the things they want is clean, efficient facilities. They want to be able to get through screening procedures quickly. Recently, the Transportation Security Administration, the United States, came out with a survey that said in the United States, 1 out of every 7 passengers either missed the flight or actually missed the flight because the screening lines were too long. New airports will have new technology, and that will get passengers through faster. So that's one thing they look at. Families are traveling, so they're looking for family-friendly airports that will have facilities for children, or being able to have small hotels that people can sleep there. And certainly quality of food is an issue, and ease of getting into a major city, or being able to transfer to another airline or through the same airline to get to another flight. All of these things go into the mix on how you would look and structure an airport.
So Mark, if you had to give an example of an airport that's really getting it right, both in terms of the technology and the ease of travel, what are the standouts for you?
Well, I think you can take a look at something like Singapore. When you take a look at some of the airports, even the, well, not Narita so much, but Haneda Airport, close to downtown in the city. Those are things that are very important. The new Beijing airport, with its clean, open facilities, with its new security lines, with its new equipment that it's going to have, those are things that passengers will come to recognize as being very important because it's time. And time is of critical importance, whether you're on business or you're traveling on pleasure.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Mark Weiss there, Director of International Operations at Reagan AeroTech.